Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie and this is part two of my teen recommendations video. So this is for teens of like middle teen to older teen. So I'm really excited to keep going with this video. I wanted to get it out right away. So this should be the next day of when I'm dropping this video. Part one was me talking about YA and the age group to YA and the stigma to YA. So go ahead and check out that video. I'll also link it at the end of this video. So I hope you guys enjoy my recommendations. And yeah, the next recommendation is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I actually go into this. I'll link that video at the end of this video of exactly what Caraval is. But to give you the 2-second snippet, we start off with our main heroine, Scarlett. And Scarlett is dealing with an abusive father. She's also dealing with a betrothed that she doesn't want to be betrothed to. She's like fleeing a betrothed. She runs into this stranger, and this stranger actually is very mysterious, and he ends up having 2 tickets to Caraval. And Caraval is a traveling magical carnival / game. So you don't get tickets. You can't just buy tickets. You have to be invited to Caraval. Well, this stranger comes, granting her 2 tickets for her and her sister Tella. So she ends up running away with the stranger because she's fleeing that betrothed. But unfortunately, when she ends up going to be a part of this game, the game becomes more interesting because Tella gets stolen and she becomes the main piece in the game. So the game becomes a whole new level for her. So that's kind of the start of Caraval. This book, oh my goodness. If you are a teen, this is a phenomenal book for you. I would definitely recommend this to teens that are, 15 and above is fine. But this definitely has some romantic elements to it. It definitely has some darker themes to it. Just keep that in mind when you're reading this book. But it really was a fun ride. It's 3 in the series. I'm trying to think if the 3rd one did have any heavier scenes to that. I don't really remember there being any sensual scenes in the very last one, but I can't promise you that. But as you're reading through the Goodreads reviews, just keep that in mind. I'm trying to think. I don't think there is any, but just keep that in mind when reading Caraval. But the first one is a clean read. So there you go. There's Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I absolutely adored it. If you want more in-depth detail to what it's about, go check out my other video. Moving on to the next one. The next one is a brand new book. It is Fable by Adrienne Young. Is this the book of the year for me? Absolutely. I recommend any teen who is, again, I'd say like 15 and above, 16 and above to read this book. Oh my gosh, it is so much fun. It is like a Pirates of the Caribbean retelling. Like, I cannot tell you enough about how wonderful Fable is. You start off with our main heroine, and yes, she is dropped off on a cutthroat island, and she has to figure out, 1, how to get off this cutthroat island. 2, she needs to go confront her pirate, they call him a merchant, like underlord, but it's really like a pirate dad, I guess. I don't know. Like he's not officially a pirate. He's a cutthroat merchant is what they call him. But he has to confront his cutthroat merchant of a father because she wants to be on his crew, but she got put on this island right as her mother had passed away. Her dad had left her on this island. So there's a lot going on in this. Just a really fun read. You just, from start to finish, it's just going. And it's just, oh gosh, and this cover is amazing. Like, the second book has the other side of her face, so you'll get a full snippet. I'll actually put it right here. This is the full snippet of both books. I'm definitely buying both books. It's amazing. The way Adrienne Young took this book was amazing. I absolutely adored it. Fable, highly recommend. Great read for a teen. They'll have fun with it for sure. Or you'll have fun with it for sure. Okay, so moving on into older teen. So these are the books I would recommend if you were 16 and above. And maybe an advanced 15-year-old, but yes, 16 and above for sure. The first book I would recommend is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And this book is incredible. It is definitely one of those fun, don't know which way it's going to turn, mystery type books. We start off with our main heroine, Avery, and Avery has just inherited a fortune. She's just inherited billions upon billions of dollars, and she doesn't understand why. She doesn't know the person who has given her this money, and she's literally caught in this game, and she doesn't understand why she's there. But unfortunately, there's a catch to owning these billions and billions of dollars. She must live in this manner for a full year to inherit this money. Unfortunately for her, the person that had given her this money has 4 grandsons, and the 4 grandsons also reside in this home, and they are wondering why she has inherited all this money. So you start from there, and it just kind of takes you on a whirlwind. It is really awesome. I talk about this in my October wrap up. I will actually put that at the end of this video as well. Really fun read. If you want more in depth on what it is, please check that video out. But yes, really awesome. Edge of your seat, trying to figure out what's happening. It's like a clue. Like, oh, here's the candlestick in the library, and you kind of have to figure out where they're going with this. So anyway, that's The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Moving on. Okay, my next recommendation is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kammerer. And this book is so much fun. Again, another retelling. I really need to do a video of retellings. You guys would be impressed with how many retellings I have in my house. It is just redonkulous. It is definitely a go-to for me. I love all the old retellings, but I'm getting on a tangent. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and before we go into that, I got this from Fairy Loot as a special edition. But I wanted to give you guys the cover art to that. So if you guys read the book, you guys can come back and see the cover art, so you can kind of see who's who and the characters in the actual book, because I always like putting kind of like a face to the characters. But let's tell you about A Curse So Dark and Lonely. This is such a really great book. I mean, we start off with our main hero, Prince Ren, and it's kind of like a Groundhog's Day situation where he relives autumn every season over and over and over again, and he's waiting for his one true love to break the curse. Unfortunately for him, they have to go and steal these girls from the modern day world to bring them back to help him break the curse. But unfortunately for Ren, we run into our main heroine, Harper, and Harper sees this girl getting abducted, and she ends up intervening. And instead of the girl getting abducted that they wanted, they ended up abducting Harper. And Harper has to end up figuring out how to break this curse. It's really a fun read. The main heroine in this has a cerebral palsy in this, and she does have a limp, and I just love how the author wrote the heroine. I absolutely adored it. This is a 5-star read. Your teen will adore this book. I feel like it has that Beauty and the Beast retelling vibes, which is always a fun retelling. So really enjoyed this. Moving on to the next one. Next we have An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. And this one is really great. I really did enjoy this, especially for a teen. It definitely has that element of, you get the Fae world, you get the Autumn King. There's a lot of elements in this that I really did enjoy for a teenager. It did read a little young for me, which is good because they're meant to be YA books. So I like that in that aspect. So we start off with our main heroine, Isabel, and she is an artist, and her job is to paint portraits. And she ends up receiving her first royal summons to paint the portrait of our Prince of Autumn, which is named Rook. And unfortunately for the Fae, you are not supposed to paint them with any emotion, because to paint them with any emotion is a signal of weakness. But unfortunately for our main heroine, she ends up painting Rook with sorrow in his eyes. And for Rook, that could be a deadly mistake. So our main hero ends up seeking our main heroine out. Rook is furious that Isabel had painted sorrow in his eyes. So Rook steers her away to the Autumn Kingdom to stand trial. That is the start to The Enchantment of Ravens. It's really a really cute read. I enjoyed it. Definitely would be 15, 16 and above for sure. I liked the aspect of it. I liked the way the author took this book, and I really did enjoy the elements to this book. Moving on to the next recommendation. So this is for our older teens. I'm definitely going 16 and above for this one. And this is The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. And I had to include this one. This one is phenomenal. We've got a magic system. We've got thugs. We've got a heist. We've got so many great things going on in this book, and it really starts off with the ultimate heist. They're trying to break in to this impossible place. Like, it's like the Ice Kingdom where it's surrounded by walls and barriers, and they need a set of thieves to actually break into this location. So this is kind of what Six of Crows is about. You've got a band of thugs coming together, breaking into the impossible place. And what's great about this, you've got a great magic system, like I'd said before, but then you also have great characters. That's Lee Bardugo hit it out of the park. But you do have characters kind of like pairing off together. So you do have couples here and couples there. So there is a romantic element to this book, just to keep that in mind. So, and then there's also other things going on. So definitely loved this book for teenagers, but I definitely would recommend this for 16 and above just because they had the romantic element to it. I absolutely adored this book, Six of Crows. For me, it was a top 5 read. If you're an adult, I definitely recommend this book. It had that Ocean 11's vibe to it, but in a magical element. So there you go for Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. Okay, so next we have The Selection by Kiara Cass, and I absolutely adored this for older teen. It's pretty much a bachelor retelling it's like a futuristic bachelor. It's 35 girls, 1 crown, and the competition of a lifetime, and it's pretty much, there's a prince, he needs to pick a betrothed, and 35 girls are selected from different districts. So you definitely have like the Hunger Games type situations with different districts and girls coming from different districts around the area where they get selected to be a part of this competition to win the prince's hand. So that is The Selection. It is really an adorable romance, because it's definitely a romance, but since it is kind of like a futuristic, I don't think there was any magic in here as much as it was like a futuristic type element to it. So this is all takes place in the future of what our future would look like in the United States. So that's why I'm including in this, because that would be considered fantasy. So anyway, The Selection, I adored it. I thought it was super cute. It is a clean read, but yeah, The Selection, really, really good. Moving on to the next one. I'm going to include this just because I can't tell you a lot about it, but I feel like it's definitely a recommendation I want to give to you guys. Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. And what's great about Fallen Kingdom is you have that Throne of Glass element, but in a YA version. So it's definitely for older teen, but you get that Throne of Glass type of like, which kingdom's gonna take over the rest of the kingdoms and win ultimate power, you know? So you definitely get that element to it. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet some really interesting characters. There's some dark characters in this. You've got a great magic system, and it definitely have different kingdoms you're dealing with in this series. It's a great read, kept me interested, and what's great is all the books are out, so you can just pretty much binge the Horde series if you actually wanted to do that. But there's a lot of political aspects to this. There's some romance, there's some magic wielding. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend. And the last recommendation I'm going to give to you guys, I could be recommending, no joke, all day. I'm going to do another video. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a surprise. But yes, I will do another video for YA, so don't worry. But I could be recommending all day. I feel like this video is going to be long enough as it is. But honestly, I read so many YA books that I feel like it could go on and on. So the very last one is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And this one is just so much fun. We start off with our main heroine, Jude. And Jude is a twin. She has another sibling. And it first starts off with her having her parents killed by her stepfather and her being whisked away to fairy. And unfortunately for her, humans are despised in fairy, and you have to be very careful with what you say in fairy, because you can make deals with fairies to where you become enslaved to them for life. So words are very important to fairy in making promises and making deals. And it's really interesting how Holly Black wrote this. So you start off with our main heroine, Jude. And Jude is a girl who's nothing more than to be part of the high court and be part of fairy. But unfortunately for her, fairies really despise mortality and humans. So she's having to convince not only the Fae, but also our prince. And our main prince is Cardan, and he is the wickedest, cruelest of all the princes. So not only does she have to convince the Fae, she has to convince him why she wants to be part of fairy. So as Jude becomes more immersed with the Fae Kingdom, she ends up finding out there's deception and deceit and trickery, and unfortunately now she has to feel like she's at the point where she needs to not only save herself, she has to save her sister as well. So that's kind of the start to The Cruel Prince. And the way Holly Black did this, it was so much fun. She even goes into like some of the deals they've made. Prince Cardan, like some of the Fae, it's not like normal fairies. They have like certain intriguing things about them. Some of them have beaks, others have animal parts to them. So I don't want to give anything away because it's a really fun read. I really enjoyed this for older teen because once you get into the later books, especially I think it's the third book, there is sensual content in the third book. So just to keep that in mind for your teen, or if you are a teen and if you don't mind reading that is going to be in the third book. So to keep that in mind while reading The Cruel Prince, I think they picked this up, believe it or not, for a movie. So the movie rights have been sold to this. So I'm very excited to see when they're going to make it, if they're going to make it, or what. But I feel like this could be the next Twilight, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, I hope they make it. I would love to see more movies about Fae. The Lord of the Rings did so well that I feel like Warner Brothers or whoever the studios are kind of missing the boat on Fae, because I feel like, especially with the Marvel Avengers, that is dystopian. I feel like they should definitely pick up a fantasy and try to put it out there. So that is my recommendations for teens. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am putting a couple videos at the end if you wanted to see for other recommendations for YA. I had such a fun time doing this. I do have so many other recommendations. Please tell me if this was helpful for you guys for YA, if that's something, if you guys were interested in it, if there's books I missed, if there's websites you guys have known of to put books in to get content out of what the books entail. I would love to hear that because I have been looking and it's been really hard to find certain books for age groups. Luckily people are nice enough to put on Goodreads. I feel like this is for this age and this age. And of course, like I said before, this is all my opinion, you guys. Anyways, I really enjoyed making this. I feel like, oh, here's another thing. If you guys are an adult and you want to take a crack at some of these books, by all means do. I feel like some of these are really great adult reads, especially if you want to get into the fantasy genre. Instead of going straight into adult fantasy, start with a YA fantasy and see how that goes for you. Because I feel like they simplify not only the kingdoms, but the magic systems. And some of those magic systems in adult fantasy are very daunting. Like, I had to do research on the actual fantasy kingdom and the actual, and granted, I hadn't started reading it yet. I just did the research on it because I wanted to be prepared going into it, what to expect, because some of them get kind of complicated. So, and maybe it's just for me. I don't know. Other people could run into them and they're like, oh, this is so easy. But I wanted to be prepared going into the book what I'm gonna find or what the magic system is, because at the end of the day, you get different things from different authors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Please comment down below what you guys like, and please comment down below maybe something I missed, because there are so many wonderful YA books out there, and I know I've missed so many. So at the end of the day, I hope you guys are all doing well. Please like and subscribe at any point, or just give me a big thumbs up and we'll call it a day. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Bye guys.